My name is Erica Lorraine Spencer, and I remain subject to state surveillance and terrorism by the state of California that is operating a malicious targeting system which is referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices. And it is in violation of federal stalking statute 18 U.S.C. sections 2261A subsections 1 and 2. My website and podcast serve the public good by publishing evidence of the public entity's ceaseless engagement in a pattern of conduct intended to stalk and monitor via communication devices, surveil, harass, and terrorize an American citizen in concert with the people of the state of California. Documentation serves the lawful purposes of wide exposure, federal prosecution, and influencing federal legislation with policies specifically designed to punish, dismantle, and disincentivize an unprecedented targeting system by a public entity that acts in concert with the people of the state in order to criminally place under surveillance and terrorize an American citizen, which is a matter of public corruption in the state of California. Notice: intellectual property theft is particularly egregious and equally unlawful where the sole inventor and creator of the intellectual property is the targeted individual. Erica Lorraine Spencer, subject to the unconstitutional and inhumane government system of gang stalking, otherwise referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices, because of which the intellectual property created by the targeted individual, who is, in fact, Erica Lorraine Spencer, as the intellectual property also proves, serves to establish via evidence and expose the existence of criminal surveillance and thus an inherent threat posed by the U.S. government and the civilian population sharing engagement in the unlawful system. Such evidence that includes all of the content created by Erica Lorraine Spencer, images, videos, audio, etc., belongs solely and entirely to Erica Lorraine Spencer only and is necessarily published online in order to protect her life, safety, and liberty as the targeted individual, who is also the intellectual property owner, no less protected from theft procured through targeting by a public entity. Theft of any intellectual property belonging to Erica Lorraine Spencer, which is necessarily committed while she, being both creator and inventor, remains oppressed by the public entity via criminal surveillance, is a criminal and inhumane means of infringement under all circumstances and not protected nor enforceable pursuant to any invalid or fraudulent acts of copyright, trademarks, patents, etc., including as it pertains to any ideas associated with or generated from the intellectual property or the intellectual property owner, Erica Lorraine Spencer, whether creative, business, or otherwise, nor does the intellectual property owner consent to any such means of infringement and theft. Erica Lorraine Spencer here. The following is an audio version of video evidence that is captured for purposes of mass distribution, which is why I am capturing it and sharing it on the podcast for evidentiary purposes and also to reveal the wealth of documentation that extends beyond what it is that I document on podcasts. Much of the video and images will be published onto the YouTube channel, the P.O.C, and it is also shared on the Google Drive. Again, this is for purposes of revealing what I remain subject to, which is federal group stalking and monitoring. It is a demonic system of state surveillance that the government is practicing in concert with the people of the state, and it should be known and well understood that for the government to engage in federal group stalking and monitoring, this is a crime that is committed with a criminal purpose to threaten the life of an American citizen. This is to conspire to murder and or permanently kidnap an American citizen while engaging in a perpetual sex offense in concert with the people of the state. All right, this is the entity stalking by ARCA. I'm at 4342 Good Avenue, and this is also Southwest Airlines that is stalking. You'll recall my video evidence while Southwest Airlines is hovering over this apartment building. As I am progressing north on Euclid Avenue, so is the stalker. the Ontario International Airport, the city of Ontario, the U.S. government, because there's no planes, that are taking off from the airport. There's no passengers on this plane that's flying over me while I'm at ARCO. ARCO that's engaging in the pattern of conduct, just like when Southwest Airlines that maintains no flights and no passengers headed to no destination but is stalking, is hovering over the apartment complex, which is also a defendant in the case against the United States government for criminal monitoring. All right, the employees are going to prison. They're systematically engaging in the pattern of conduct, and they also profit off of it. This is the entity that's doing so while I am capturing that the environment. The ongoing criminals of the U.S. military expose the people of the state who are gang stalking and pursuing on the roads and the highways, which is also proven through the fake SUN documentation, the stalking with light conduct. This is the entity that's engaging in that with impunity. He's going to prison. License 23. Yeah, this is the same one. He's a serial stalker. He is going to prison. 23103U1. He's engaged in surrounding me. The people of the state, they're stalking at Starbucks. That's surveillance while they're parked in front of the store. And it's literally surveillance while an establishment is engaging in the pattern of conduct. It's not legitimate business. It is a RICO case. It's a prosecution also for treason. And it is the co-defendants of the U.S. military that are flying and stalking at these establishments, which is how you will prosecute any and all businesses engaging in the pattern of conduct by virtue of the placement of that establishment. This is the P.O.C. This is the entity that is gang stalking at what is, I want to be clear, 5:58 a.m. Alrighty, that is the entity that's engaged in that together with the people of the state who are sharing in that criminal pattern of conduct. They're sharing in criminal monitoring. It is currently, like I stated, 5:59. License plates, the people of the state. 7HWX195. License 7XIY347. Chevron and ARCO. The Ontario Veterinary Hospital. Starbucks. And the threat posed by the establishments that are gang stalking is also in the evidence. Starbucks committed kidnapping with this entity. And that's exactly relevant to the threat posed by a population and the corrupt entity, the business entities, the corporate entities that are engaging in the pattern of conduct. This is the system of public corruption where the military is exposing its defendant, the people of the state, who are prosecuted by virtue of the placement of the corporations. This is a prosecution of the whole. This is P.O.C. It's currently 6 a.m. All right, the current time is 5:59 p.m. and this is the bathroom monitoring that the city of UPLAND, the entity that's engaging in surveillance in the bathroom, is maintaining, and it's occurring under the ongoing indication of violation of privacy while the entity is maintaining amplified audible activity. While I'm in the bathroom stall, which I took a picture of my location while the entity is stalking in the path, while you are maintaining amplified noise, the sound of someone like punching the wall, which is impossible audible activity. This is tile, and the Hulk is not here punching the bathroom tiles and creating what is noise that's in perfect alignment with me surrounding me inside of that bathroom stall. Joy is here monitoring my vagina. Brianna is here monitoring my vagina. The entity is engaging, those are employees that are going to prison, and they are acting with impunity, stalking me with helicopter every time that I'm here, stalking me under a fake sun, pacing around like a psychopath inside of a building, doing so with the people of the state. They are all going to prison, and this is documentation of bathroom monitoring at 6 p.m. This is P.O.C. This is upon my exit. The entity is engaging what is surveillance every second that they are on the job working for the Upland Public Library, which is the U.S. military maintaining criminal surveillance through the people of the state. A corrupt public library. Going to federal prison. This is surveillance, not just merely violation of privacy. It's surveillance which is indicative of the government's conspiracy to commit murder. And that's why you're stalking and monitoring me in a bathroom. And you're going to prison for that. All right, this is P.O.C. It's now 6:01 p.m., so I'm on surveillance cameras exiting the bathroom, exiting the venue where the entity is stalking in the path. And the people of the state that are mentally ill, those who are demons, in other words, are engaging in surveillance obsessively on behalf of the government, making sure every moment that I spend inside of the building, I am kept under ongoing obsessive surveillance. So they are stalking in the path while I'm inside. This is the P.O.C. And that is a terrorizing threat while the entity engages in that. And it includes Joy. Joy is wearing an olive green sweater, and she is stalking with her communication device as I get on the elevator. She's engaging in nothing other than pacing all day long under the guise of being a librarian. She's a demon. She's a creature. She's a sex offender. She's a co-conspirator of murder, and she's going to be committed. Alrighty, this is the P.O.C. It is 6:02 p.m. Stalking in the path by standing and talking to Laura when the library is already closed at the circulation desk. It's a means of stalking in the path while you will see the fake sun. You will see the engineer light on the inside of the library, which is impossible light activity. And it's also impossible not only based on the position of the fake sun, but the fake sun is still at the same venue. Okay, this is the P.O.C. The entity that's stalking with the City Hall in Ontario by commercial plane. That Caucasian female is gang stalking in Upland, California. She's crossing path, entering into the Upland Public Library right now. She's a serial stalker, and also you'll see this hefty third party, melanated female, perhaps African American. She's a psychopath. She's engaged in heavy stalking. She's wearing the backpack and flip flop. She is stalking in the path where the exit doors are with regard to the placement of the fake sun. And this is what she was doing yesterday. This is the entity engaged in that with the military, who you can hear in the background, flying over the top of my head. What I am describing is not engaging what is name calling. It is the fact, and while you are called what you are, the entity then provides evidence confirming it. Okay, walking out of the library. This is again why Laura is going to prison. Laura is engaged in vagina monitoring, and this is a psychopath under a fake sun. And because you do so, I'm going to sit here and stare at my computer and wait for the target individual whose vagina I'm keeping under surveillance. I'm going to wait for her to walk out under the fake sun while the military is engaging in things, ambush conduct, like flying over the top of your head. This is why they go to prison. That's psychotic. Okay, this is the P.O.C. And this African-American female, she likes to engage in stalking me a lot. She is engaged in what is serial stalking territory. It is the basis of federal prison. I'm going to go ahead and get her image right now with the fake sun glaring in the background at the same Veterans Center where I'm at 8 o'clock in the morning. This is the P.O.C. You're going to prison when the entity is engaging in that, what I just documented. The government flying over your head, that's a terrorizing event. While the government's keeping you under surveillance and you're stalking. And moreover, you're giving evidence to medical professionals as to why you should be committed. Sitting there staring at a communication device while you're strategically positioned with regard to stalking in the path, terrorizing and psychologically torturing that person in concert with the government that's waiting to engage in an ambush-like conduct, like stalking, flying over your head with planes and helicopters, which is what the employees of the Upland Public Library are routinely engaged in, and every single last one of them are going to prison. This is P.O.C. The people of the state are gang stalking on the roads and the highways. This isn't traffic, nor are they free to engage in that. The people of the state, domestic terrorists, are losing licensure to be on the roads and the highways. The privilege to be on the roads and the highways does not include the ability to engage in criminal monitoring like the people of the state are doing. And this is speaking to public corruption and the corruption of those relevant industries such as insurance. You're talking about fraud. You're talking about murder. You're talking about malice as opposed to negligence when you are on the roads and the highways gang stalking. And they're engaging in this while they are stalking the path in the same manner. As I'm documenting, even in Upland, stalking me by helicopter while you're at the stop sign, you're going to prison. And that's going to follow you, and that is sitting on the record. And these are demons who are suicidal. They're going home, and they're looking at the social media, and what they need to recognize, what you need to recognize, is that you're going to federal prison for what I documented you engaging in, and your driving record, your identity, your your license plate, which you have maintained no privacy in, by the way, is a means of documenting criminal presence in the path. This is the P.O.C. The entity flew over the top of my head right now. That's letting you know that these are all demons that are stalking. And that's a prosecution of the city police department, of the stalkers that are using ambulances. The fact that you're a stalker and you're stalking using ambulances is the tangible evidence submissible against you in a court to have you committed. That's what's going to happen. They're all stalkers, and they're all being diagnosed based on the way in which they're stalking, which is psychotic, the behavior of creatures, not humans, who are engaging in the witchcraft that is gang stalking. It is currently 6:06 p.m. This is upon exit of the Upland Public Library, whereas the fake sun shows I am subject to surveillance on an ongoing basis. Alrighty, and this is the entity that engaged in kidnapping, and while they're engaging in that level of terrorism. Okay, this is an entity that is absolutely in need of being confined like animals, and that's what's going to happen. That's what's happening. All right, this is for the protection of American citizens who don't know what's surrounding them. All right, this is the P.O.C. It is currently 6:07 p.m. Alrighty, this is documentation of the same sex offense committed by the same entity. As I'm documenting bathroom monitoring at Upland Public Library, the same pattern of conduct is underway in the bathroom of Wendy's. That is engaging in the pattern of conduct. The entity is monitoring by maintaining surveillance, crossing a path. And these are sex offenders who are actually demons who are gang stalking, and they're also doing so while they are physically engaging in criminal elements which you can identify. But what is actually happening is these are a bunch of demon possessed people who are sex offenders, and they know everything that you're doing on the opposite side of the wall. So with regard to prosecuting, though, Wendy's is being prosecuted with regard to what is the entity. The entity is maintaining light activity on the adjacent street. This is a vehicle which I took a picture of, the black pickup truck. You'll see in the images captured. It's currently 8:07 p.m. Stalking with peculiarized light. The demons that are pacing on Hope Boulevard are engaged in vagina monitoring. This is occurring inside of the facilitating venue of Wendy's. They're doing so while an employee is maintaining relevant positioning outside of the bathroom door, a male, one that's going to prison. I documented him engaging in what is harassing me while they lock me out of the venue on more than one occasion. In contact with the military, stalking me by plane and helicopter at this venue. And also engaging in what is molestation via engineer light, both inside and outside of the restaurant and under the fake sun. This third party is an operation of a communication device which he plays on speakerphone, playing music, which is audible activity while another demon of the male species. Okay, this is a creature that's engaging what is, as I open the door, stalking in the path is executed by merely standing at that door. Trying to figure out the code. You could be standing there eating an ice cream cone. They're stalking in the path while they are monitoring, tracking my steps, aware of where I'm located and what I'm doing. And that's relevant to the vagina monitoring that's underway inside of what is Wendy's, which is Wendy's being prosecuted as a sex offender, the corporate entity that is a person under the law. And that legal fiction is used to prosecute that person as a terrorist, prosecute that person as a violent sex offender, and a co-conspirator of murder, while the government has aided in prosecuting Wendy's, the corporate entity, where my vagina is being violated, my privacy is being violated, for which Wendy's has no defense under the law. They're doing so through their employees who are gang stalking and through the patrons that are inside of that venue gang stalking me, and they're specifically gang stalking my genitalia in that bathroom. This is the P.O.C. It's currently 8:09 p.m. and I'm capturing images of the license plate of the third party. But all of the employees of Wendy's are going to prison. They've passed that threshold regarding what is the basis for mandated prison terms when you're engaging in the pattern of conduct with the entity that is engaging with a collateral harm such as harassment, systematic harassment, when you're already conspiring my murder. And the entity is engaging in what is ongoing gang stalking, meaning as I return to Wendy's, that has also engaged in poisoning, mandated prison. They are engaging in what is at the pattern of conduct. They have not ceased to engage in the pattern of conduct, meaning the military has not ceased. What is conspiring my murder has not stopped stalking, which you already know that because they're stalking me by helicopter overnight. They're stalking me by planes as I'm walking to and from the library. The entity's under the fake sun. You already know this. This is the maintenance of that investigation, and I'm outlining the ways in which I'm going to prosecute not only Wendy's, but its employees and the people of the state that are gang stalking at that venue, which establishments such as Wendy's shall be criminally liable for. You are absolutely liable. As a criminal, you will be held responsible for gang stalking that is underway at an establishment that you are maintaining, where the people of the state are literally the means whereby you are profiting, and you're actually profiting from criminal activity. And it's not different from trafficking drugs using a nail salon. And this is the entity that is going to federal prison for gang stalking at a restaurant while my privacy is being violated by an entity, not just the sex offenders that live there, that work there and are inside of the restaurant engaging in vagina monitoring. This is relevant to shale gas. This is relevant to AutoZone, where they're engaging in that P.O.C. together. And the entities engaging in this while they are aware that they're also being documented. So this is coloring the crime. These are sex offenders. These are terrorists that know that they're being documented, and that mental illness that is afflicting a population is one that continuously engages in that which is literally being viewed, witnessed by the world as domestic terrorism is being prosecuted by the demon possessed, and everyone is witnessing the demon possessed who are diseased of the mind engage in criminal activity in the ways in which they do so, the obsessive ways in which they continue to do so, is that which is to be studied, and also informing legislation and the ways in which you're prosecuting terrorism by those that are of a supernatural condition, demons. Okay, this is the P.O.C. Demons that wish to consume you. They eat human flesh. The demons that are obsessed with your privacy, your genitalia. So when you don't know that you're dealing with demons and you're having sex with them, that is something that is beyond creepy. It's spiritually significant. You are literally laying down with Satan, who wants to possess your vessel. And the closest thing to possessing you is having sex with you. And the entity is also engaging in this as a criminal entity. And this is the ways in which those that wish to violate the human race, all right, are to be dealt with as the terrorists that they are. They're terrorists with regard to the fact that they're not even humans, and they're engaging in this means of keeping everyone under surveillance, which you don't even have a right to do. You don't have a right to do, and you are also a threat to that human race while you're engaging in that criminal activity. Okay, so this is not just me preaching on something that is a spiritual condition. It's spiritual warfare. But this is prosecuting with tangible evidence. So this is bringing into the physical that which is relevant to the invisible. But that's what you're dealing with. That's literally what's going on. You're dealing with creatures, and they threaten mankind because they're demons, and they actually hate you. And that's because they're possessed by the spirit of Satan. While they hate you, but they're obsessed with you and everything concerning that which is sacred to you, like your privacy, all right, like your right to, in a civilized, so-called civilized society, your right to, if you want to, be nude in your house and walk around with your, but it's not like you're walking around with your blind, well, you might be, but walk around in your home, whether you're decent or not. You can walk around in your home however you want to walk around in your home, and demons are monitoring and violating your privacy, and they are all in your business because they don't have their own concerns. They're not humans with their own lives and purposes. They're demons, and they're monitoring humans. Period. And that's why they're engaging in stalking in a bathroom at Wendy's restaurant. I'm going to make Wendy's restaurant regret that. And that's what the purpose of the prosecution is. This is P.O.C. It's 8:14 p.m. This is documentation of bathroom monitoring.